Now it's time for the Hall of Fame Awards. Please welcome David Cruz.
Buenas noches. Good evening. Does this thing work? Oh, yeah, it does. Boy, that's a tough act to follow. Fortunately, I stand here only to share the story of great people. So give me just a few moments of your kind time. George, yo le recuerdo when I was in LA that no matter where we needed him, he was always willing to come out and help us. That's what makes him who he is today. Que se presta por nuestra gente. So now I want to take you with me on a journey way back. Way before we sat in beautiful places like this. Way before we could even come into places like this. There was a man named Felix Tijerina. Felix Tijerina, he wanted to be un restaurantero. He loved pleasing people. And you know the way you please Mexicanos, mira, through the tummy, ¿verdad? Felix in Houston, Texas, became a restaurateur. Not one location, 4 locations. But he knew that there was poverty in his city. And the poverty was not just in dollars and cents. Nuestros niños mexicanitos could not go to the schools like other kids could go. And he knew that was wrong. He stood up, just like George does. And there was a woman who heard his story, a teenage girl, a young lady, Isabel Verver. We've honored her before. But Mr. Tijerina, and much of this history has been gleaned by a man who is somewhere in the audience. The bright lights don't let me see him. Our historian, David Contreras. Where are you? Stand up. Okay, David, thank you. Because I'm just the storyteller, you're the writer. Felix Tijerina founded that school of 400. And because of him today, a little program is Head Start. How many millions of children have we helped? And LULAC was the one that got it started. And by the way, he also had time to change housing policy in the city of Houston back then, in those early days. Let me move forward to John Herrera. You may not know John Herrera, but he did something that no other LULAC president had ever done. He persuaded a man known by 3 initials, JFK, to come to a LULAC event like this, the first sitting American president to ever come to an event hosted by LULAC. What do you think about that? And you've seen the video, you've seen the photos. He and his wife, John F. Kennedy, and his wife, graced our dinner, and it remains as a milestone in the history of this organization. He gave respect to our community because of John Herrera, and we honor him tonight. Yes. I want to tell you briefly, and there is so much more. If you go to our interactive historical milestone on our website, you're going to find these stories. There's another man I want to recognize tonight. His name is Alfred Hernandez. There were 2 or 3 things that I wanted to share with you because something very significant happened in the Supreme Court today. The Supreme Court decided that there will be many decisions that used to be handled by agencies in our federal government that are going to be turned over to courts. We don't know what's going to happen there. Because back in the day of Alfred Hernandez, he too wondered what would happen in the courts to our community. So he decided to do something about it. He ran for and became a judge. That's it. He became a judge, and because of him, the judiciary system in Texas was impacted positively because people like us could come before him not in fear, but in seeking with hope that there would be justice for them too. Let us credit Alfred Hernandez as our inductee into the Hall of Fame. And throughout it all, every time a young person came before him, he took a personal interest in championing that young person. He is known as El Campeón de los Jóvenes de Houston. And David, thank you. Thank you for considering him, for nominating him. And tonight we add him to that roster in the Hall of Fame of LULAC. The final inductee tonight is a woman from Laredo, Texas. Where's Laredo in the house? Allá estamos. There you go. Council number 9. The woman, Alice Dickerson Montemayor. She began with LULAC in the 1930s. I want you to picture that in the 1930s. Wow, we had just gotten started as an organization. She was a trailblazer. She was a pioneer. I'm sure that there were some guys in LULAC who wondered, ¿y esta? But back in that day, it was hard, but she fought and moved forward. And I want to tell you that Alice Dickerson Montemayor served for decades as a trailblazer for women in LULAC, and her favorite dedication was educación, which remains to this day the cornerstone of this organization. I want to know if there are family members, loved ones of these inductees in our audience tonight. If so, I would like to give you the chance to stand if you are here. And if you are not here, because obviously we were going to get the awards to them. But let me just, again, thank you. Muchas gracias. Acá, they're the real stars over there. Muchísimas gracias for having come. ¿De parte de quién vienen? Who is your family member? There you go, John Herrera. Do we have someone else in the house? Yes. There you go, Alfred Hernandez. Eso. So you see, when you sit in a place like this, it isn't just about being inspired for the moment. Look at yourselves as being part of a wonderful history. As someone said to me this week, ¿y si no hubiese LULAC? Then who? And if not us, then who will do this work? Muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Buenas noches.